So I chase the bucks, your friends looking like you changing up. Remember back when I would chase the bus, niggas is racing for short durations, running from their sins. When I was just a kid, running from my pen, people is talking, I Tony Hawk them, I swear to ground.
What's going on, everyone? This is your boy AshTheMan, and welcome to the video. In this video, we're going to be talking about my Game of the Year picks of 2020. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, I do want to give an honorable mention to Resident Evil 3 Remake. Now, I think Resident Evil 3 Remake was real good. I enjoy everything about the game, the story, the graphics, the updated character, especially being Jill Valentine being one of my favorites. But the only thing that it takes away is that it didn't have the multi-endings like the original game did. So sad about that. But it does include Resident Evil Resistance when you purchase the game, so that's definitely a good thing. So I just had to get this mention out for Resident Evil 3 because I still think that it could have been a possible contender if they would include the multi-ending. So, but let's go ahead and definitely jump into this list. I want to talk about Doom Eternal. I just want to give a shout out to VGO. He allowed me to use some of his game footage for the video, so shouts out to him. And I'm gonna have a link for the video so you can be able to see a full playthrough of his live stream for this. But Doom Eternal is real good. It's a continuation from Doom 2016. If you love how Doom 2016 was, you're definitely going to like what they did to update Doom 2016 to Doom Eternal. You have better enhancements, the extended story, you got update on the visuals, the music has always been great. The multiplayer, I get mixed things about it, so but the story enough is to keep you definitely engaging. It keeps you overwhelmed with so much to do. I think Doom Eternal has the rightful for being on the Game Awards nominees, and it's definitely going to make my list for my personal choice. So do I recommend Doom Eternal? Yes, and it has a good thing of being on this list. There we go. So let's go ahead and talk about Persona 5 Royal. Now, Persona 5 Royal is not just an extended version of Persona 5. It actually is, you know, it kind of feels like the whole game all over again. Like you playing it and you getting the same, you know, experience, just a lot better. Like being able to have the grappling hook in the dungeons, being able to find additional items and additional perks in the dungeons versus of what the original game added. They added 2 new confidants. You get you added you know, the last dungeon to being able to have, you know, the additional hours of gameplay and the additional experience that the confidants add. Definitely does add a layer of a gameplay that's going to make the experience that much better. And then the additional soundtrack. Who don't love Persona 5 soundtrack? It's definitely amazing. So honestly, Persona 5 Royal, I wish it could be received more in the West instead of just, you know, by faithful fans, but we gonna get there. They getting there. I mean, it's starting to approach more wars now, but we getting there. But however, Persona 5 Royal, I definitely recommend it. It's definitely on my list for Game of the Year picks. My bad. But let's talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, Final Fantasy VII Remake is definitely an updated version from the original one. You got more character interaction. You definitely got a better visual. The visual on this look freaking amazing, especially when they make that transition from day and night. You also got, you know, the same material system, but they just updated it to kind of fit the new battle system, which is freaking amazing. Every character has been updated to still fit the original, but to update them in a way that they still feel modernized. So you don't really get something that will feel like, hey, look, you know, you still gonna get Baird, you know, looking like he's somewhat chunky or not. No, you get an updated Baird, you know, updated with him and his daughter, you know, the whole, you know, team, everything, Avalanche. The whole bar just looks freaking amazing. The world looks good. The soundtrack has been updated, so you're gonna love it. And man, just seeing Cloud with the Buster Sword and this modern, you know, like system and everything is crazy. And then a plus is that they have Sephiroth, and yeah, Sephiroth is my favorite game character, probably one of my favorite characters of all time. And yeah, to being able to see him, and then they had the one wing version of him in there. Oh man, just simply lost it. So yeah, Final Fantasy VII, I'm glad that it became a nominee for the Game Awards, but it definitely made my list because of an impact that it had this year on me as a gamer. So pretty much love it. Now let's talk about Nioh II. Nioh 2 is definitely is the second expansion to the first Nioh. Now, what's crazy is that Nioh 2 is a prequel, but also the ending sets you up for future events. So it kind of plays the part of being a prequel and have additional material for the story. Now, it deals with the 1500s. You pretty much follow, follow the army of Nobunaga. You and the merchant, who the merchant sells Amarita, you follow him. Now, he deals with one of the main villains of the story, who pretty much comes into contact with, and being able to use yokai abilities for him being half yokai and half human. Now, this does add some crazy feats, like one, you being able to use the yokai ability, which you know that you usually have like the little spirit, and you're able to use spirit attacks in that state and not take any damage. But now it's more of a yokai standpoint on it, and not just only that, you get to have yokai skills, in which allows you to use certain skills of the yokai if you're able to obtain their demon heart. And then thirdly, you actually being able to have a burst with your yokai ability that definitely does have a sort of like a countering mechanism, which is definitely great. With the 3 different yokais, the countering mechanism can be like fast, it could be more technical with distance, or it could just be straight up brute, which has like the short amount of distance but strong. Now, I will say that the visuals is good. The soundtrack for this is freaking amazing. So yeah, I think Nioh 2 should have been on that nomination list for Game of the Year. I'm glad that it's receiving other awards, but I just feel like it should have been up there. So unfortunately, people need to hunt themselves and respect Nioh 2. Now, lastly, let's talk about Ghost of Tsushima. Now, Ghost of Tsushima, it definitely, hit home for me. Like, following the story of Jin Senkai as he, pretty much throw his honor away to become the Ghost of Tsushima is amazing. He pretty much defend off his land against the Mongols, and pretty much he threw his honor of a samurai away to protect his people. Like, it's you being able to get bodied by the Mongols twice really left him feeling like there's not much they can do. But once he threw that honor away and pretty much start acting more as as a savior than a samurai, it really took the story and added a little bit of a twist of how much of his self is he gonna throw away to save his people. And it's amazing. It was really good. I think like the battle system fits just about anybody's playstyle. I love it. The leveling up system, the armor that you're able to receive, the different lands and environments, and how they capture and elevate the visuals is freaking amazing. Ghost of Tsushima is not only on the list, but in my opinion should win Game of the Year. It definitely made things with a twist this year when it came to open world samurai games. I mean, music composure was definitely great on here. I think that the characters is really well developed. You can't go wrong when you talk about Ghost of Tsushima. Anybody who has played this game and actually sat down and really played it, instead of looking like, hey, look, it may not be my twist on the game, they actually love it. Even people who's not even into like the whole era with samurais or even like this type of style of game love this game. So honestly, yes, Ghost of Tsushima is one of my picks for Game of the Year, but it's also who I think should win Game of the Year from the Game Awards. So yeah, and that's my list for you guys. And I just want to give a shout out to JJ Wilson, because we was talking about this on the vintage in the Turn to a Vintage podcast episode 9. He already posted this video, which I'm gonna leave a link down so you can be able to check his list out. Very good list, by the way. And anybody who's watching this who'd be tuning into the Vintage podcast, I would love to hear who you think your picks for your personal list for Game of the Year worthy titles, or at least make a video about it. I wouldn't mind it. But that's my list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys like my picks. If you don't, if you do, leave a comment below, leave a like on the video, and don't forget to subscribe. Other than that, AshTheMan is out. Peace.